When Love in Every Word came out in early 2025, it quickly became popular on social media. You couldn't scroll for more than 5 minutes without hearing, Ashalugo, I'm going to marry you. Odogu, please. As a sharp and trendy guy, I didn't watch the movie up until March. When the stars finally aligned for me to watch the movie, I discovered that the movie already had a sequel less than 7 months after the first movie came out. I don't blame them for trying to capitalize on the success of the first movie, but the sequel in 7 months is crazy. More on that later. For now, let's talk about Love in Every Word. My god, I have a lot of things to say about this movie. You are first introduced to the main character, Shoba, at her office, where she works as a marketing executive. Her mom calls her to remind her to come for a wedding in their village, so her mom can show her to some potential suitors. The supervisor to her boss comes in and starts berating her for failing to do a project in less than 24 hours. You know, your typical evil boss vibes. Then a guy is sending a package to her and calls her. Apparently, they've been stopping her for 2 years. She's clearly not interested in the guy and she tells him to leave her alone. It's obvious that this movie is trying to establish some season for the character in this first scene. But it would be nice if they allowed me to tell the story naturally, instead of treating me like a toddler. It's almost like the character looking at me directly and telling me, my name is Chioma, I have an evil boss. My mom wants to introduce me to some guys in the village. Anyway, she goes home and her boyfriend Davis tells her that the $5,000 that she gave him for forex trading has been lost. He then asks for $2,000 so he can make back the money that he lost. She then slaps him, tells him to remove all the clothes he's wearing because she was on her boss apparently. And she chases him out of her house in the middle of the night and refuses to give him transport fare. Now wow, this might be a ball. Fair enough. He lost the investment that she made on him. Fair enough. I'm not even going to try and present it as a outstanding boyfriend or a perfect boyfriend or anything. But domestic violence is still bad, man. This isn't even talking about her telling him to strip and chasing him out. So can't agree that this is bad, right? Good. The movie shows her in the wedding happening in the village and she's talking with the bride, and we see the second lead, the Odogu, for the first time. The characters stare at each other before he passes. We then see her in a room, working on a laptop. Her mother comes to tell her to leave her work, that she wants to introduce her to a real man, unlike Davis. Okay, she leaves her room and she goes hide in the corner. Then Odogu comes and approaches her. They start talking. It's here you find out his name is actually Obiora. They talk through the night and she sleeps up. And the next day, she wakes up, leaves silently, and goes back to Lagos. Then she meets her friends and look at her and they can tell instantly that she has met someone, and she gist them about Obiora. An unfortunate consequence of every line in this show, looking like exposition dogs, is that it's very hard to make the chemistry between characters seem natural because nobody talks like this. Hey Chioma, my friend return from the village. How are you? I am doing okay, my loyal friends. It sounds so unnatural though. In the next scene, Obiora comes to Chioma's office all day from Alhambra with a live band just asks for her number. And Chioma's supervisor is giving about this and she starts bracing Obiora or tries to stop the peace of the office. She then asks the security officer to chase Obiora and his band out, and the security officer reveals that Obiora bought the office building that morning and is now technically the supervisor's boss. Firstly, that's not true. He's merely their landlord. And secondly, as evil as the boss is, she's right. It is not right for Obiora to come and disturb the peace of the workplace because he has business one of the employees. That's not how things are done. But Udogu Soul's always right. Later, Obiora and Trevor on the date and asks her whether she'll work or whether she has a business. Mind you, he knows these things already. When he met Chioma for the first time in Anambra, he says to her in a rather stalker way that Chioma Gloria Koji, the marketing exec and CEO of Arena Sense. And in this scene before this, he went to her office. Obiora even acknowledges that he knows this is already, but he just wants to listen to her talk. And Chioma says that is the first, that usually she's the one doing the listening. And at this point, I understand what the appeal of this movie is. Obiora is rich, handsome, caring, loving, etc. And it is very easy for people to watch this movie and be like, Omo, God, don't go find no. That is what this entire movie is about. And when you realize this, you notice this everywhere. I do not have any problem with this at all, but the movie executes this so unconvincingly, man. The kind of thing when you need question that Obiora can ask her on this date to make him look like an instant man. And Chioma doesn't even waste time to say, oh, that is a first. If you looked at me and said, viewer, what Obiora is doing right now is what an ideal partner should do. So I've been less insulted. It's also at this day that we get the iconic Ashanugo, I'm going to marry you. Odogu, please like. After the date, Obiora drops her up at her place and they kiss at the door. Chioma invites him in and declines, saying that he doesn't want the relationship to be about sex. Then he starts sending her gifts. She starts ghosting him. Her friend asks her why she's formerly a rich man, and she said that it's because of his evil accent. Obiora himself confronts her in her workplace about it, and she will talk to him after work. After work, Obiora posts her at his place. He cooks for her, and of course, he's an amazing cook. You expect nothing less from her role model boyfriend. She then tells him that she can't date him because of his accent, and look, you expect it. It is extremely shallow, without it out, but actually that is a personality I can latch onto. But, as you can probably guess, this movie's pathetic attempt as complete, and it is resolved in less than 10 minutes. After the friends and her mom tell her that she's tripping and she should marry him because he's rich, and that makes him a real man. At this point, we are 1 hour into the movie, so they start padding the movie with random shit. It's also at this point I start noticing the drone shots. Every single scene starts and ends with the drone shots. They serve no purpose except to extend this movie to increase YouTube ad revenue. As a matter of fact, the scene that also followed this served no real purpose. I'm struggling to find any scene of note to talk about here. It would be fine if the scenes were mid or even boring, but they are so fucking cringe. Unbearable line after unbearable line, delivered in the most unbearable way possible. There is a scene where they're sleeping by 2 a.m. and her boss calls her, and he picks the call and they start insulting her. There's enough fake complete to set up, as Chioma reveals that she doesn't see a future with Obiora. That is around the reason why, until she finally reveals that because Obiora reminds her of her absent father, and it is settled at the movie ends. After I watched this movie, I opened Instagram and the very first post I saw was this one from Tikopo's Mad, and this movie ticks every single box. In other words, this is your average Nigerian romance movie. If this is the standard, you are so fucking cooked. This is by all accounts a terrible movie. The acting, the writing, the story, the sound design. There's a particular song that keeps playing in the movie, and we were trying to pick the most obnoxious song possible, the past in flying colors. But let me bust to edge. As for about this movie is, the summer managed to make it so that it's far worse in every single way. It is very impressive how they managed to make a movie that is 3 hours long with nothing going on there. Love the M Word too brings back the padding tricks from his predecessor and a new annoying treat. Ads. I am generally oblivious to stuff like this in the movie, but the ad was so audacious that it's hard to ignore them. It's got to a point where I wondered whether it's ethical to call this a movie. Notice how I'm avoiding talking about the plot. It's because there's nothing going on there. Chioma opens the physical store and is sold out the next day. How very independent woman of her. Obiora tells the family that he wants to marry Chioma, but his mother, who is played like Precious Ozokwo, objects to the marriage after finding out that her father abandoned her when she was younger. How very Precious Ozokwo of her. His mother finally agrees to the marriage after Obiora sends them up to meet him in a situation that was so cringe that even Disney Junior rejected the script. Then they marry. Obviously, other things happen in this movie, but they are so inconsequential to the plot that there's no point talking about them. In fact, there's no point talking about these people. Look at the number of advertisements in this movie, for God's sake. Is it ethical to call this a movie? When you look at the art of making movies, the portion that these creative people put into their craft, is it right to call this shit a movie? Just look at this fucking shit, man. They spent 20 minutes of this movie on the wedding. No story, nothing at all. Just celebration and performances of from chief priests and boys' spouse. What the fuck brings out to the plot? In the grand scheme of things, this movie does not matter at all. It's one of countless Nigerian movies on YouTube, so why might I guess this movie specifically? It's not because of it got famous, because it's not the first Nigerian movie to get famous on YouTube. It's because, generally, this movie is regarded as good. And this is what is regarded as good. There is a problem in Nigeria. Thank you for watching the video and